Hello and welcome back. Today we are going to be talking about stress management and specifically the art of being able to monitor your stress level in real time and kind of like the midlife new way of doing things, be able to, in the messy middle of the day of tasks not yet complete, of things still to do, being able in that messy middle ground to actually drop into stress management and relaxation practices that will have a sustaining and positive effect on your mind and on your body. And I think for most women, this is like counter to what you're normally doing. Normally, you're waiting to find a way to relax or rest after things are finished. So after you're done with the workday, after the house is clean, after the kids have been, tucked in and everybody has what they need. And what I have experienced in the last probably 5 to 6 years of perimenopause and then the last 9 years of motherhood is that nothing is ever done. There's always more to do. And I have a job actually as both a therapist and as a business owner and entrepreneur that there's always more work to do. Like there's never a time where I have everything on my work to-do list checked off, let alone as soon as I leave work and enter my family life, there's always something to clean. There's always something to do. There's always more for like housework and life maintenance to continue to work toward. So when is a girl gonna rest? And I think it's just gotta be right in the messy middle, right in the middle of things being undone and unfinished. And there's many ways to rest, but what I'm talking about in this episode is strategic ways to notice and detect subtle signs of stress as they start to mount and build, and then have a practice. I'm going to introduce you to my favorite in this episode, but have a practice that helps you to bring that stress level down in real time. I talk a lot on this podcast about accumulating stress through kind of undigested or unmetabolized emotions. And then also the accumulated stress of just experiencing stressors throughout the day, but not actually giving yourself a signal to downregulate and to connect within and to release some of the tension that our bodies are experiencing as we're rising to the occasion for all the stressors in our life. And stress is not a bad thing, and it's also not something that we're going to get rid of anytime soon. Like life has stress in it. The stressors or the stress themselves aren't actually the problems. It's the way that we're experiencing the stress or stressors and maybe the lack of integration or kind of completion that we bring on the inside around those stress cycles. And I find that most women, and maybe you're like this too, you're not exactly sure why you're feeling some tension or some stress. It's like, yes, I'm a working person. Yes, I have kids and a family and a full life, but usually it's more subtle than that. It's like all the layers of caregiving, all of the layers of responsibility. It's not always just one stressful incident. It's usually like a layered and compounding experience that most women are having. And so it's not so much that you're going to pull away and really think about what you can do about the stressors. There's maybe nothing to do about those external stressors, but rather we're learning to pull over to the side of the road, or if I'm in my favorite river analogy, learn to like eddy out, find that still pocket of water on the side of the flowing river. We learn to take these pause points in our days so that we can change our relationship to the stressor. So that rather than changing that outside stress, unless it's really easy to change, but usually it's not. So rather than changing what's out there, we focus on how to improve the way that we're supporting ourselves and experiencing the stress from within. So part of this self knowledge is knowing your tells or your early signs that stress is starting to build. And stress could be just responsibilities. It could be difficult things in your life, or it could be, challenging personal experience you're going through. Whatever the source of the stress is, and it's for most women multifactorial, we're all experiencing stress. When we start to struggle, usually those signs in the early stage are easy to miss if you don't know exactly what your signs are. And the goal would be to know what your signs are so that you can intervene on your own behalf early before the stress really builds and mounts and becomes something that's more disruptive in your mind and heart or relationships or just whatever you're doing in that day. So, some really common early signs that stress is starting to build is that you might be having more trouble winding down at the end of the day. You might be having a harder time redirecting your thoughts. You might notice you're kind of ruminating or kind of worried about something and you're having a hard time letting it go. You might notice that you're feeling a little more irritable or agitated by the people that you love and care about, and your kind of internal reaction feels a little disproportionate to the moment. It's like a minor inconvenience or disappointment, but it feels on the inside much bigger to you. Another early sign is just feeling forgetful, like you're not as present, like you can't figure out where things are and you're forgetting things that you normally don't. And this one can be kind of funny in midlife because that kind of cognitive change that comes with perimenopause can really exacerbate forgetfulness or brain fog. But I think that like stress, compounding, and hormonal fluctuations kind of really reinforce each other and play off of each other. So it might be influenced by hormonal shifts, but usually it's a sign when you're forgetting things, you're feeling scattered, you're feeling a little more disorganized, that a part of you is really trying to cope with mounting stress and isn't as available for that executive functioning that you're really used to. And then the one that I think is pretty universal and that most women need practice to pay attention to and identify in themselves is physical tension. So, like, is your jaw tense? Are your shoulders up in your ears? Is your stomach clenched? Have you yet taken a full deep breath or two or three in the day? That usually our body starts to tell us the first signs of stress mounting, and that's usually in like a bracing or a tension, like muscularly or physically. Another sign of mounting stress is being a little harder on yourself or a little more self-conscious, that there's just a part of you that's feeling a more agitated and more like that there's something wrong with you, a little more critical, a little more pushy when it comes to like performance or what you think other people's perception might be of you. Another sign of mounting stress is a little bit more rigidity, like less willing to be flexible, more reactive when something gets canceled or doesn't happen exactly the way that you thought it was going to. And then finally, maybe just that feeling of being on, or like your brain keeps losing the moment. You're like going to the next work project, or you're thinking about the laundry, or you're thinking about what's happening tomorrow, rather than just being like in the present moment when it's time to rest or time to just enjoy being with your family or a quiet moment alone. And if you're like 99.999% of all the women I've ever talked to, and when I look at myself, that whole list that I just named is really relatable, maybe even on the daily. So none of those things are something to be ashamed about. It's just more seeing those less as like character flaws and more like signs that a part of you really is in need of some stress management and support. and being able to get that strategic stress management support in real time, not just like on the weekend or later that night, if you feel like you might have a few moments later in the day. It's so important because in midlife, your body and brain is way less forgiving of a chronic depletion state. The compounding factors of hormonal fluctuation, sustained caregiving, both for young kids and maybe even depending on your age and your family's health, like for older adults in your life or parents. And then the real responsibilities and work opportunities, but also challenges that are coming your way. This like amazing midlife experience is much more sensitive to stress, pushing things kind of in an out of balance feeling much more easily and quickly than maybe it used to. I mean, certainly pre-kids, but definitely pre having the kind of elevated role that you have in your life. And then also the changing neurological composition in your hormonal and chemical landscape. So the art of midlife stress management is finding ways to slow down pretty much every day, midday, to be able to check in with yourself and either directly address what you're carrying, what you're experiencing, or give your mind and body a direct kind of reset physiological support experience so that you can move into a parasympathetic or down-regulated state so that the stress doesn't just keep mounting. You're actually reducing tension, you're addressing issues as they arise, and you're staying connected to yourself from the inside out. And a couple years ago, I really started to geek out on what are the practices that busy women can use on the daily that will give that stress management hit as well as that parasympathetic down-regulated experience right in the messy middle of their day-to-day lives. And I've developed a few different guided practices that I am so proud of and I absolutely adore and that I use on the daily for myself. I'll be sure to link my free Vibrant Mom Toolkit in this podcast episode. I have them all available for you to just use for free. It's just my treat, my gift to you. But what I'm so excited about in this episode is we're going to actually do one of my favorite practices together in real time. So get ready. You might want to, in a few minutes, push pause on this episode and get yourself to a private place. This doesn't have to be like you're totally alone in a like serene environment. You could just like go into your bedroom and close the door and like lie flat down on your bed. You could also just go to a couch and find a place to lay down. You can roll out a yoga mat on your office floor and just like turn off the lights and put do not disturb on your office door and lay down for a few minutes. This is going to be a 10-minute guided practice. It is for deep relaxation and stress management. And so really, I want you to think about doing it at your home, at your office, or even, I have to be honest with you, I have done this in my car more times than I can count over the past 9 years. Usually I'm just like driving my car to where I've been picking up my son from school or daycare or whatever the season of life we're in. And I just recline the chair back and I can find a private place in a parking lot in a shade and just do this practice in my car. Now, granted, I live in a really safe, small community, so that might not be an option for you. But the point is it doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be an ideal circumstance. We are looking for you to silence your phone, turn off notifications, and find just a comfortable place to lie down flat on your back so you can participate in the exercise and practice right in the middle of the flow of your day, doing something that plugs you deeply into you and provides deep rest and renewal. One of my favorite ways to do this is through a guided relaxation practice called non-sleep deep rest. It's a practice where you're intentionally pausing and allow both your mind and your body to unwind really deeply. And it actually has similar benefits on the nervous system to sleep without actually sleeping. And it's such a valuable tool for reducing stress, boosting energy, kind of resetting your mind and your focus and your clarity. And I think it's an essential practice for modern life and especially for midlife women. Now, there are a variety of non sleep deep rest protocols out there, but basically, they all guide the listener to learn how to self direct a state of calm through strategic focus on different parts of the body or on different visualization cues. In an NSDR protocol, you're practicing helping your brain shift out of a reactive, stressed, pressured, low energy, down, or disconnected place. And then it's giving your brain specific guidance to place your attention in a way that helps you to relax, feel regulated, feel replenished, find deep renewal, and kind of feel more balanced, open, and less reactive and more connected within. You can kind of think about it like the ultimate reset button. And one of the reasons why I love NSDR is that for some people where meditation or other types of relaxation practices don't actually work well for you at all, or when you're really stressed or pressured or in the messy middle, like it's impossible to get your brain to turn off and your mind is continually thinking about what's next while you're trying to listen to a guided meditation, I think that NSDR is going to be the golden ticket for you. I think it's really good at asking for your brain to pay attention very closely. It brings like a big cognitive demand at the beginning of the protocol so that you don't have time to get distracted. You don't have time to think about what's next. You're really being asked to focus really simply but strategically on the cues and the protocol. And that actually helps your brain to start to slow down and go into this like floaty, nourishing, restorative place much more easily than if you're just being told to relax. And some like cool fun facts about some of the findings from studies that have been done about NSDR. It improves productivity. It improves focus by increasing cognitive functioning and capacity. It increases learning and memory. It restores levels of dopamine in the brain and can reduce cortisol. And because of those kind of biochemical influencers, it enhances mental well being and will boost your mood. And really, I love using NSDR for that mood regulating and nervous system modulating and stress management protective benefits, but also it's a huge tool for sleep and sleep regulation. So it will help to improve your sleep quality over time. So if you use NSDR during the day, you're not sleeping. Remember, it's non-sleep deep rest. If you use it during the day, eventually it can help you with falling asleep and staying asleep, or it will just be a really good buffer on your mind and body when you have insufficient or interrupted sleep. So even if hormones aren't influencing your sleep patterns in any way, if you're a mom, and especially if you have younger kids or if you have older kids that are staying up later and your sleep schedule is a little bit off, it can really help to buffer the stress of caregiving on sleep. So really quick, before we try it together, just a little bit more info about how it works. NSDR is going to guide you into a state of deep rest and relaxation without falling asleep completely. And when you practice it over and over, you'll become more efficient and more effective at dropping into a hypnagogic state, which is this like transitional state between wakefulness and sleep. It's like the waning state of consciousness right before the onset of sleep. And so we're going to learn through repetition and through the NSDR protocol that I've designed for you how to access that state in the middle of the day without falling asleep. And we want to access that hypnagogic state because it is deeply healing, reparative, regulating, and restorative to the parasympathetic nervous system. It's a wonderful space to hang out in. with repetition, NSDR will teach you the skill of self-directed relaxation. So this means that the power to relax and release mental and physical tension exists within you. And so regardless of external circumstances, you're able to maintain, control, or influence your own internal state. Now, I can't wait for you to try my NSDR protocol. Maybe you've never tried NSDR before, and I am so glad you're going to try mine first. Or maybe you've tried other ones and you thought like hit or miss, but I can't wait for you to try mine. They are expertly designed with clinically proven best practices in mind, so you are getting a safe and highly effective protocol and guidance that I think you're going to feel really held through and deeply nourished by. In my honest opinion, they are among the best protocols out there, and I actually prefer to use my own audio tools almost every day myself, which is crazy. Like, I hate listening to the sound of my own voice. I'm sure many of you do too, but I am willing to listen to the sound of my own voice to get that specific protocol that I have designed. It's so, so good, and I can't wait for you to try it. So in a few minutes, right here on this podcast, my Vibrant Mom 10-minute non-sleep deep rest guided audio practice is going to ensue. So push pause right now if you need to and get yourself situated to give it a try. The best way to learn about this tool is to actually use it and notice the effects it has on your experience, both in your mind and in your body. Then let's begin. Welcome to your Vibrant Mom non-sleep deep rest practice. Whatever you needed to do to make it here, I am so glad that you did. This is a guided visualization that creates deep relaxation, supports a parasympathetic response in your nervous system, and can help you to expand your ability to be with yourself, move through your emotions and through your day with greater ease. You can use this practice to deactivate your stress response, to replenish your energy, refresh your mind, and create more internal space for emotional well-being. Take care to set yourself up well to receive the benefits of your practice. You can do this by protecting your space. Turn off all notifications and manage for any potential interruptions from technology, pets, or people. This is your time, and you get to rest and reset your nervous system now. As you're ready, lie down, get comfortable, and make any last adjustments to your clothing and your positioning. Your arms and legs can stretch out equidistant from the body. Your arms are at your sides with your hands in a comfortable position. The feet are relaxed. Your head, neck, and spine are in one straight line, and the eyes can gently close. You can shift anytime you need to, but try to stay still throughout the practice and just allow yourself to listen and be here. Try not to fall asleep and know that it is normal to fade in and out of conscious hearing. If anything becomes uncomfortable, notice if you need to make any adjustments or if you'd like to stop the recording. Okay, friend, let's begin. There is nowhere else you are supposed to be right now. This is the only thing you need to do. And whatever your experience, this practice will offer you something valuable. Your thoughts might come and go. Let them pass as you listen to the cues for where to place your attention. Allow the surface beneath you to hold your weight. Take a few deep breaths here at your own pace. With each breath, notice the body being supported without your help. Imagine the weight of your body slowly melting and pooling beneath you, like hot wax dripping down a candle. Allow tension to leave your body little by little. Open your ears to the sounds around you. Move your awareness from sound to sound, not staying on any one sound. Listen to the sound of your breath. Now we'll begin rotating your attention throughout the body. As I name each point, allow your awareness to rest there. Bring your attention to your nose, the right nostril, left nostril, both nostrils gently breathing together. Feel for the place in the skull for your nose. Now the forehead, right temple, left temple, right eyebrow, left eyebrow, eyebrow center, the right eye, left eye, the place in the skull for your eyes. Both eyes together, resting deeply in their sockets. Notice the space behind the eyes in the midbrain. Your brain is resting and suspended in the skull. Notice the right ear, left ear, both ears together. The right inner cheek, left inner cheek, the upper teeth, lower teeth, the hinge of the jawbone. Notice the cavern of the mouth as one whole space. Suspend the mouth. Relax the mouth. Move your attention down to the right hand thumb, index finger, middle finger, ring finger, pinky finger, palm of the hand, back of the hand, wrist, forearm, elbow, upper arm, shoulder. Bring your attention to the notch at the base of the throat. Now to the left hand thumb, index finger, middle finger, ring finger, pinky finger, palm of the hand, back of the hand, wrist, forearm, elbow, upper arm, shoulder, the notch at the base of the throat. Bring your awareness to the right armpit, side ribs, waist, hip, thigh, knee, shin, calf muscle, ankle, heel, sole of the foot, top of the foot, right big toe, second toe, middle toe, fourth toe, pinky toe. Notice and relax the whole right side of the body. Bring your attention to the center of your chest. Now the left armpit, side ribs, waist, hip, thigh, knee, shin, calf muscle, ankle, heel, sole of the foot, top of the foot, left big toe, second toe, middle toe, fourth toe, pinky toe. Notice and relax the whole left side of the body. Bring your attention now to navel center, to the right buttocks, left buttocks, the lower back, middle back, upper back, back of the neck, back of the head, crown of the head. Bring your attention to the center of your forehead in between your eyebrows. Now to the notch at the base of the throat. The right chest, left chest, center of the chest, upper abdomen, navel center, lower abdomen, pelvic region. Now the whole right leg, the whole left leg, the whole right arm, the whole left arm, abdomen, chest, and back all together, head and neck together, the whole body, the whole body, the whole body. Return now to an awareness of your breath, your natural breath moving in and out. Feel the body breathing for your nourishment and support. The body is breathing for you. Notice the contact between your body and the floor, between your body and your clothes, the sensations inside your body. Become aware again of sounds in the environment. Remember where you are, the room that you are in, and the time of day. And notice the practice is coming to an end. You have the time you need to transition out of the practice in any way that feels right to you. Slowly move your hands, your feet, your head from side to side. Reach your arms overhead and stretch the body. Your practice of non-sleep, deep rest is now complete. Welcome back. I'm so glad that if you've made it all the way to the end of this podcast, that you probably actually did the NSDR practice. I would love to hear what you noticed about the experience. What did you notice was happening in your mind and body, in your thoughts, and in the kind of energy or pressure in your body? And then what did you notice afterwards? Drop me a comment or shoot me a DM on Instagram. I love to hear from you and hear what you're loving, what you're relating to, and what's interesting to you. And also take a moment to acknowledge the gift that you gave to yourself if you did that practice. And if you could choose to save this podcast or go ahead and sign up for the free toolkit, I'll deliver this audio practice right into your inbox so that you're able to listen to it on any time you want to. My two favorite times to use it are during lunch, on my lunch break, kind of right in the middle of my day, or as soon as I end my working day, like in the 3:30 to 4:30 is usually when I'm trying to wrap up. I'll use this practice right around end of day as a transition point, letting go of work and bringing my best self back into the driver's seat before I go pick up my son and spend some quality time with him. But I can't wait to hear when you're using it and how it's working for you. And if you're feeling extra generous today, I would love it if you sent this podcast to a friend that you know could really use this guided relaxation tool as well. Thank you so much again for your time and attention as always, and I look forward to continuing the conversation next week.